Last week in Talladega, we were treated to one of the most exciting races of the year. And anything that could go wrong for the top 2 point contenders,
99 of Ricky Stenhouse up in the air,
did.
It's Scott Speed, your point leader, with problems.
This changes everything now. Absolutely changes everything.
With his dramatic 5th win of the season.
Oh, what a move.
Justin Allgaier closed the gap on point leader Scott Speed. And rookie phenom Ricky Stenhouse Jr. is knocking on the door in the 2nd spot. Will one of these young guns become the first champion since 1999? Or will Frank Kimmel pull off a miracle in Ohio? And it all ends here.
Miracles can happen, and they may happen right here in Toledo, Ohio today. From the Toledo Speedway, it's the ARCA RE Series Championship 200, the final race of the 2008 season. We've gone through 20 races, and now we come to the final race of the season. Hello, everyone. I'm Rick Allen alongside of Phil Parsons. At every race, we have seen some extremely talented drivers. But I tell you what, Phil, this field is very, very powerful.
It really is. And I don't think we've ever had 4 drivers coming into the last race with a chance at winning the championship. The guy right now in 4th is the only champion we've had this century. 9-time champion Frank Kimmel. I think he's a little bit too far out. He's had a terrific season nonetheless, as usual. Our point leader right now is Scott Speed. He's in the driver's seat. He's got a 90-point lead over Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Scott's had a terrific season. He moves to the Sprint Cup Series tomorrow. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., very, very talented young driver out of the Roush Fenway stables. 2 wins this season. He has got to make something happen. He's got to win the race. He's got to try to lead the most laps and see if Scott Speed would stumble. And here's the guy that's been on fire. The guy, Justin Allgaier. What that terrific win last week at Talladega. He's already been signed by Penske Racing to go nationwide racing. As a matter of fact, he raced last Friday night. A great group of 4 drivers contending for this championship.
Let's take a look back at that race you just mentioned. Talladega Super Speedway, one of the biggest variables when it comes to a championship. And sure enough, our championship contenders had trouble early on. The 99 got almost upside down. Then the 2 had problems blowing a tire. Both cars go behind the wall and they start working to get back out on the racetrack. They do get back out, but while all of that work was going on, a great battle was taking place on the racetrack. Joey Logano had the lead when they crossed the start-finish line for the white flag, but it was Justin Allgaier claiming his 5th win of the 2008 season. We see the points as they stand after 20 races. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. 90 points back, Justin Allgaier 110, Frank Kimmel 150. All of those are mathematically still in it, but it would take a miracle for Allgaier or Kimmel to win the championship. They would have to unseat Scott Speed, and before he climbed in his car, Jim Trado talked to him.
And Rick, as much as we know, the future for Scott Speed starts in NASCAR as soon as tomorrow. It is the focus of the championship, the foundation for his stock car efforts late here in the ARCA RE Series this season. And Scott, has come down to this race. What is the plan to secure the championship?
Well, no plan, really. I mean, it's kind of out of our hand at this point. I mean, I don't think anything's going to break on the car. The guys have done a really great job putting together. I mean, we got to finish in the top 17 if Ricky wins. I think that's, I mean, as long as we don't get in a huge crash or something drastically doesn't happen, that should be pretty easy to maintain.
And he will start next to his point rival in the 2nd row.
Ricky Stenhouse starting on the outside of row 2, right along Scott Speed, who he trails by 90 points in the championship. So what is the balance of patience and aggression entering today's event?
We just got to go out there and run our own race. Our Aflac Ford Fusion was really good. Thought we would have qualified just a little bit better than that, but we'll take 4th. It's better than where we started here last year, or the last race here. So I think we got a good car. Our Aflac guys are really good on pit road, so I'll always count on them. And our Roush Yates engine's been good all year, and you know, just got to thank Aflac for coming on board this year. And it's been a great year. Jack's, you know, can't give him, you know, any more credit for giving me this opportunity. So we're just going to go out here and run our own race and hopefully come home with the win, and I guess we'll see where the points end up.
To win the title, Ricky needs some help, but there's no doubt anything can happen when you're short track racing at a place like Toledo.
Here are the scenarios that we would have to see for someone other than Speed to win this championship.
Yeah, if Scott Speed finishes 17th, it doesn't matter what happens to anybody else. And Ricky Stenhouse, obviously his closest competitor. If he leads the most lap, wins the race. Scott finishes 17th, the championship championship's his.
Could be in the hands of Scott Speed. It should be in the hands of Scott Speed. He's put together an impressive season. Let's go down and get the engines fired.
Remax welcomes you to the ARCA Remax Series Championship event, where 4 drivers are still competing for the coveted 2008 championship. Now, on behalf of over 7,000 independently owned offices and over 100,000 Remax agents around the world, drivers, start your engines.
Race cars coming to life here at Toledo Speedway in Toledo, Ohio, the home of the ARCA Remax Series. We're going to go racing when we come back right after these messages. Speed coverage of the ARCA Remax Series from Toledo is presented by Remax, serving your real estate needs above the crowd. Brought to you in part by ARCA Nation. Get in, get on ARCARacing.com. And by the auto parts experts at AutoZone. Get in the zone, AutoZone. A great crowd on hand for today's race, and that is because it is a gorgeous afternoon in Toledo, Ohio.
Incredible. Look at last year's weather. 55 degrees when we're here for this race. A full 26 degrees warmer today than last year.
What a difference a year makes. Take a look at our race analysis for today's race. 200 laps, 100 miles on this half-mile oval.
Yeah, the key to this race right here is that the ARCA Remax officials have given these teams 6 tires in the pits. That means 1 full set of tires plus an extra set of right-side tires. When you want to put them on, that could be the key. That'll
be the big question. The pit window, 150 to 160 for fuel. Let's take a look at our touch of gray track map. And this is a little tricky half-mile here on the Toledo Speedway. It has been around for so long. There's been so many famous people, obviously racers that have been on this racetrack.
Yeah, I've been coming to this racetrack literally my entire life. I grew up in Detroit, about 50 miles from here. My brother Benny won 3 of these ARCA Remax races here back in the 60s. I've always loved coming to this racetrack.
Our Remax starting grid will be on the top of the screen. It's Justin Lofton claiming his second pole of the 2008 season. Dexter Bean will start on the outside of row number 1. We'll ride along with a few different drivers today, one of those being the 11 of Brian Silas. He'll carry one of our cameras and start in the 26th spot.
We're also going to ride along with the Hans group. New South Lemonade, Stein Seed, Ford for Matt Carter. He starts in the 8th position. Remember, this is the team that Frank Kimmel won all those championships with. They're just outside the top 4 right now in 5th.
And the last time we were here, he went to victory lane.
That's right, back in May.
He's got a little momentum bringing that car right back here to this racetrack. Let's head back trackside to Adam Alexander.
I think everyone knows, Rick, that Frank Kimmel loves to race. You talked about him. He has been very good here, winning 9 times. But what about Ken Schrader? He's a 4-time victor here at the Toledo Speedway, and he is a guy that knows all about success at this facility. In fact, case in point on loving to race, he was running last night at the Lowe's Motor Speedway in Concord, but he decided to fly over here, arrive at 2 in the morning to race in this afternoon's ARCA event. Brian Keselowski practiced and qualified the car yesterday, and that means Ken Schrader has got to drop to the tail of the field to start this race, but it will be fun to watch the veteran try to come through the field and pick up his 5th win here at the short track of Toledo. Jim Trado.
And he will have company in the back, Adam, as David Reagan has made the way from finishing 10th last night at Lowe's Motor Speedway to make the race with the Rulo brothers, number 39 Ford. They've won here before. They actually tested here this week with David, but he's all about promoting the Shriners Hospitals for Children. 22 hospitals throughout the country since 1922. He met some folks at Atlanta Motor Speedway. It became a close relationship. He now visits Shriners Children's Hospitals and certainly wants to give them some exposure for their first foray into motorsports. David Reagan's personal efforts to get Shriners Hospital some exposure, and on their website, shrinershq.org.
Now, not only do we have obviously the race on the racetrack that we're going to be focusing a lot of our attention on, but we've got to keep our eye on that championship. Scott Speed will start today in the 3rd spot. Ricky Stenhouse starts 4th, both of them making up row number 2.